afternoon and evening, my crazies. Welcome back. My name's Angela and I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady. Now it's only going to be a quick one, just solely because it is so hot in this room. There's just no airflow. I can open the window and it's coming in hotter than the air's coming in hotter out from outside than what it is in here. So hair's wet because I keep sticking my head in the paddling pool we got in the garden. Dog's not happy, but I am. So right, so let's get on. Right, so as I showed you on my last video, or last but one video, I am using the Papaya Sundae, okay, in the colourway 03. Now I'm using that to possibly make a shawl or a top. I'm going more towards the size towards the top because it is really light and really nice to work with, so I'm hoping that once it's made it'll be something nice that I can wear in this temperature. Knowing my luck, by the time I finish it we'll have had our thunderstorms and it'll have dropped back down to 12 degrees, but you never know, I might be lucky. Right, so this is my progress so far. There's a couple of dodgy ends because I needed to do a bit of colour correction on them, on the rows. So there we go. And at the moment, I should have really done this before I come on. The piece of work is now measuring a guesstimate of approximately 19 inches or 49 centimetres. So I've got a bit of a way to go to cover my big butt. And then that's before I decrease. Now I realised on my last video I didn't actually put a link to the pattern that I was using. Now I found it on YouTube, and the creator of the video, I'll pop a link up the top to her video, and on there you'll also find a link to the overall pattern for a top. But so if you fancied doing it, then if you follow along with her, it's quite self-explanatory and the pattern's written pretty well as well. And then of course, if you don't fancy following along to make a top but you want to make a shawl or a shawlette, just don't go on to section 2. It's as simple as that. Just keep going till it's the length you want. Right, I'll just sort my side out and I'll be back with you in a second. So I don't think I've done too bad on the amount of work on this one, considering most of yesterday was spent trying to sort out the garden because the grass has just taken over, so that all got trimmed back. I still haven't tackled the weeds. We've got this patch at the end of the garden, and it's just a couple of cute little weeds that I decided I was going to leave there so that the local wildlife had somewhere to plant their bums, because there isn't much else out in the garden. So we got this squeaky chair. No, so we got this patch at the back, and these weeds, normally you probably pull them out when they get to about that big. These ones are now from the floor to my head. They're easily that tall, and so of course they've got the chunkiest roots on them, so they're going to be an absolute pig to pull up. And what makes it even worse is my garden sits on clay, so we've got like a clay base and a bit of mud, so of course they've dug right down into the clay, and the clay's now dry, so digging that is gonna be one heck of a job. I don't want to do it, but I'm the only one that really tackles the garden because I'm the one that's here all the time. So that's a job I'm going to be doing next week, hopefully when the temperature drops down a little bit. So if we do get a thunderstorm or two, I might actually be out there picking and digging whilst the rain's coming down, just to keep me cool, because I'm slightly crazy like that. I love thunderstorms. Yeah, so then while I was doing that, my husband was reinforcing the decking that we've got outside, because last year we put the decking down and decided we were going to put like one of those inflatable jacuzzis on it. So we got the spot and it's all perfect, and we'd put a couple of extra supports there so that it could accommodate the extra weight of all that water. Well, we thought it would have been perfectly fine until we took the jacuzzi away and then found that a few of the boards were sort of bowing a bit under the weight. So of course he's had to unscrew those and get under and put more struts in, and so he finally got to doing that job yesterday while I was doing the grass and everything. So then we've pulled out the inflatable and checked it all over, and luckily no cats and dogs have decided to put holes in it. So that all got pumped up and we filled it up last night, or yesterday afternoon. So then by last night we've not turned like the heaters on it or anything like that yet, because we were just letting the chemicals settle and work. But of course me and my husband are like, this is too hot. So of course he's decided that's it. In his pants he goes, jumps in like in the jacuzzi, completely ducks under, so he's pretty happy for the evening. I dip a toe in and turn blue and go, right, that's enough for me. Well, today the temperature has skyrocketed higher than yesterday. I don't actually know what it is. I don't want to look, because I'm thinking we're kicking on 28s to 30s easily now. It's probably more into the 32. But of course it's quite muggy as well where we are, and we've not got a great deal of wind coming round at the moment. If we had a bit of wind, that would help it out a little bit. So it's quite muggy outside. So of course I go out in the garden, check that the decking's okay for the dog to walk over, because he's there standing there at the back door with his legs crossed. Because of course I'm not taking him out for a walk in this temperature, because the floor, like the concrete outside, it hurts. It really hurts. Because I will literally, in this weather, I walk around with the dog and I walk around in bare feet. I get strange looks off of people that don't have dogs, because of course they're like, why the heck are you being so stupid, you're walking around in bare feet? But then for owners of dogs and other animals, they're looking at me going, that's a smart idea. At least then you know, if someone kicks off at you, you can say, well, if it's okay for my feet, it's okay for his. So of course outside at the moment, the concrete outside the front of the house and especially manhole covers, ow, they hurt. They are really, really hot. So of course he's not going out the front, so he's not going for his walk. We'll probably take him out about 10 o'clock tonight once the temperature drops, and then it'll be a case of walking him over to the nature reserve so that he can go straight for the water there and just play around in the water until he's ready to come home. So I've opened the door, I've plodded outside and stood on the decking for a bit to check it was alright for him, because of course I'm in my bare feet. Then I've gone over to my grass, again stood there, and he's come out, he's done a lap and gone, no, do you know what, I'm not staying out here and I don't want to pee, I'm going back in. So the door gets opened, he goes back in, he goes off and chills on his cool pad. And at that I sort of jump into the jacuzzi, sort of, just my legs, just needed to cool them down. The rest of me can cope for now, because like as you can see I've got wet hair. It's like soak it, tie it back, that'll keep me cooler, it'll help keep my temperature down. So that's pretty much been it for today. I've got my daughter coming back from university at the weekend, so I might not have as many videos out as I normally do. You know how I like to try and get at least a couple out a week. Well, I've got her home for a week, and I've got a feeling she's going to try and steal my computer, because it'll be in the room that she's sleeping in, because technically this is her room. Well, no, it's not, it's mine. It's my room. She don't pay rent, she don't live here. It's my room. But she'll say it's hers, because it was before she moved out. But it's my room. Do you hear me, kid? It's mine. So because of that, I'm going to have to try and roll her out of bed in the mornings and get her out of the room while I'm recording and things like that, and then of course the editing as well. And sometimes some of these videos take like a 10-minute video might take me 15 hours, like 5 or 6 hours to do. It just feels like 15 hours. But hopefully, you never know, she might decide to help, and she might even decide to join in. That wouldn't be a bad one, would it? Right, little tip for you guys: if you're struggling and you really desperately want to crochet but it's just too hot and your yarn is sticking to your crochet hook, or it's squeaking as it's moving, even though you're washing your hands every 5 seconds and cleaning down at like your hooks and things, if it's squeaking, swap yarns, swap projects. I've had to move off of I've moved off from my DK projects solely because every time I pick it up it just squeaks, and it sounds worse than the unicorn horn if you've ever listened to that video with the mice in. But since I've been working with the cotton, no squeaking, and it's, as I said, as you know, it's working up beautifully, this cotton. Sorry, I'm promoting it a bit again, I didn't mean to. But yeah, cotton doesn't hold the heat as much, so it would benefit you swapping to a cotton if you have any in your secret stash. Right, now I've talked your ear off, I think, long enough now. Right, I'm going to head off now. I'm going to get on with a bit more crochet, keep going, and I will see you all soon. Okay, so stay in if you can and stay safe. Ta-ra for now, everyone.